You're eating the protein, you're doing the time, you're sweating until you can taste pennies. But you look in the mirror and nothing changes. Or worse, you manage to gain a solitary pound of muscle and it vanishes over the weekend like your will to live during a Monday morning meeting. If you feel like you're working out inside a black hole where effort gets sucked into a void, you aren't crazy. You're probably just burnt out, biologically. Welcome to the chaotic world of HPA Axis dysregulation, your brain's stress control center. Chronic stress sends the brain into a panic, triggering stress signals to the adrenal glands. These glands then release erratic cortisol, essentially turning the body into a cortisol factory. While the internet commonly labels this adrenal fatigue, scientists simply call it a really bad time. Imagine a panicked squirrel attempting to pilot a 747. It doesn't know whether to accelerate or crash, and typically ends up doing both, disastrously. Here's the core conflict. Building muscle is an anabolic process. It requires surplus energy and safety. Stress is a catabolic process. It requires breaking things down for immediate fuel to survive a threat. When your HPA axis is fried, your body is stuck in permanent catabolic survival mode. You are trying to build a skyscraper while your own biology is actively throwing bricks through the windows below you. Think of it this way. Your burnt-out body is a doomsday prepper locked in a bunker. Because of chronic stress, this prepper is convinced the apocalypse is raging outside right now. In this scenario, muscle tissue is expensive, like luxury mahogany furniture. Body fat is cheap, reliable canned beans. The prepper loves canned beans. They keep him alive. He hates the furniture. It takes up too much space and energy to maintain. So you go to the gym and do a hard workout. You just send a signal to the bunker asking the prepper to build a new mahogany wing extension. The prepper thinks you're insane. He's terrified. He doesn't have the resources to build. In fact, the stress of the workout makes him panic even harder. So what does he do? He chops up your existing muscle tissue and throws it into the furnace for quick energy. This is the black hole effect you feel. Your body views muscle as an expensive luxury it cannot afford during a crisis. Chronic high cortisol, or erratic cortisol, actively breaks down muscle tissue into amino acids to be converted into glucose, sugar, to feed your panicked brain. Your own body is cannibalizing your gains to pay for the energy debt of being stressed out. You aren't building, you're just providing expensive kindling. We have often heard people say, no pain, no gain. But for people with a burnt-out HPA axis, that mentality is like trying to make a massive investment with money you don't have. Your recovery bank account is already overdrawn. If you're burnt out, a brutal workout is just poison. The biological bank manager doesn't just decline the transaction, he freezes your assets as a penalty. This is why exercise makes you feel weaker, not stronger. You hit the gym, your HPA axis tries to rally a cortisol spike to handle the inflammation, fails miserably, and crashes. You end up with central nervous system fatigue. Your brain is too exhausted to even send the signal to your muscles to contract properly. You aren't getting fitter, you're just practicing how to be more exhausted. It's a violently counterproductive cycle. Furthermore, the HPA burnout apocalypse usually torches your gut lining, meaning you probably aren't absorbing all that expensive protein you're eating anyway. Plus, chronic stress burns through essential minerals like magnesium and sodium faster than a tech bro burns through venture capital. Without those minerals, your muscles can't fire correctly, and they look flat because they can't hold water. It's a perfect storm of biological refusal to grow. So, how do we fix it? First, stop thinking like an athlete. You are not an athlete right now. Start thinking like a conservative banker during a recession. Your body is in deep debt. Your primary goal isn't gains, it's solvency. You have to stop attacking your body with intensity and start negotiating with it using safety signals. We need to convince the doomsday prepper in the bunker that the apocalypse is over. We need a safe mode protocol. The goal is to stimulate the muscle just enough to prevent atrophy and signal a need for tissue without triggering the fight or flight alarm that burns down the house. We have to lower the threat level. If your workouts leave you shaking or wiped out, you have failed the safety test, and your gains will fade within 48 hours.
Rule number 1.
Radically reduce volume. If you're lifting 5 to 6 days a week, cut it to 2 or 3. Your fried nervous system needs 48 to 72 hours of actual rest to recover from a session. Keep the workouts short, under 45 minutes. After 45 minutes of lifting, even a healthy body starts dumping excess cortisol. In your state, going over an hour is basically begging for a catabolic crash.
Rule 2. Stop training to failure.
I know, blasphemy in the fitness world. But grinding out that last shaking rep is a massive stress signal to your brain. It screams life or death struggle. Stop every single set with 2 or 3 reps left in the tank. You want to stimulate the muscle, not annihilate it. We are coaxing growth, not forcing it at gunpoint. Rule 3. Take obnoxiously long rest periods. 2 to 3 minutes between sets. You want your heart rate and nervous system to completely return to baseline before you lift again. If you're huffing and puffing going into the next set, you're turning a strength workout into a cardio stressor. Stay calm. Remember, you're a banker, not a CrossFit competitor. Nutrition needs to signal safety too. Low-carb diets are a terrible idea for HPA burnout. They are inherently stressful to the body. Moderate amounts of complex carbs like potatoes and rice help blunt the cortisol response and keep insulin stable. You need to convince your brain that there is no famine. Eat the damn potato. It's anti-catabolic medicine. Also, salt your food. Burnout often leads to sodium dumping, making you feel weak and killing your pump. Sea salt helps hydrate the muscles. And never ever train fasted. Going into a workout with low blood sugar is like handing the doomsday prepper a megaphone to scream about the emergency. Have a small amount of carbs and protein 30 minutes before you lift to provide immediate fuel so your body doesn't eat its own biceps. Finally, you have to fix the off switch. Muscle grows when you are in a parasympathetic rest and digest state. HPA burnout means you're stuck in fight or flight. Your most important exercises are now sleeping and slow walking. A 20-minute slow walk in nature lowers systemic inflammation more effectively than almost anything else. If you aren't sleeping, you aren't growing. Forget personal records and pump chasing for now. Here is your new metric of success. You should be leaving the gym feeling more energized than when you walked in. If you leave feeling good, you successfully stimulated the muscle without overdrawing your stress account. But if you are exhausted after leaving the gym, that means you successfully triggered the doomsday prepper, and he will have a field day with your expensive muscle furniture. You need to stop fighting your biology. Building muscle with HPA burnout is frustrating, but it's not impossible. Respect the safe mode. Stop burning the furniture. If this sounds like you, try cutting your volume in half for 2 weeks and see if you don't actually feel stronger. Drop a comment below if you felt that black hole effect in your training. Like and subscribe for more biology-based fitness reality checks.